Hello, everyone. We're here for another episode of A Bigger Bite. It's a special episode, and I got a great panel here with me today. We got Rue, we got Nick, and of course, we have Amanda making her bite-sized Bigger Bite return. Once again, normally we're talking about your favorite movies and TV shows, but today it's a little bit different because we haven't seen anything. We're not diving into a film or a show that we just watched. We're diving into what happened this past weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. We got a few things that we all love to cover and a couple things that some of us have watched and others haven't that will be covered also. But without further ado, Rue, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I am still on summer break. Still got about like 3 weeks left. Chilling. Haven't been on a show or anything in like 3 days. And it's been nice. You all have been the first thing I've done but lay around on my couch. So y'all got me up to do something.
Yeah, we were supposed to do Pottercast and I totally dropped the ball there. We're gonna get to it. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I've been deep covering the Fantasia Festival, so it's nice to take a break from watching movies to talk about some potential movies.
All right. And last but certainly not least, our returning special guest, Amanda. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. It's good to be back. I took a little break, and now Marvel pulled me back in, as it often does. This company has a hold on me, and I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm very excited to discuss all this with you guys for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of where we're going to get things started because, listen, let's talk about it. We'll go in semi the order they did things at the panel last night. So first and foremost, yesterday at Hall H, it was announced that we will be getting a Ghost Rider film from Marvel Studios and Disney. And this is the logo for it. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be directed by Sean Levy, to some people's dismay on this panel, and starring Ryan Gosling, who apparently pulled a Mahershala Ali and was the one to pitch this idea for a Ghost Rider film to Kevin Feige. Amanda, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this Ghost Rider film?
I mean, I don't think I've watched the other Ghost Rider with Nick Cage, which is very sad. I probably shouldn't have said this now, to be perfectly honest. Okay, good.
You're not missing much. It's very
okay.
campy.
All I know is that Eva Mendes is in that one, which is like she should come back for this one. Yes, that we're all together with that one. Yeah,
she is Mrs. Ryan Gosling,
so it would work. It would be perfect. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's amazing. I will say that the people saying that he's like doing blockbusters now and he shouldn't, and should go back to making like indies and all of that. It's just, bro needs money for his family. I don't understand what we're talking about here to not make him do blockbusters. I think this is awesome. The fact that he even approached, and there was like a whole clip section that I saw that Joshua Horowitz kind of vouched for Ryan Gosling and spoke to Kevin Feige on his behalf. So Ryan and him have been like, this has been in development for a while. And like you said, he approached them for the project. He kind of put it out there. And I love that we have actors who really want to work on these characters. So I think that even if Sean Levy is directing, I do think that there's a potential for a good story here. I think, it's what it is. It's a Marvel film. I think there will be some surprises. The title card, I'm a stickler for, and it looks great. So I'm all for it. Ryan, as long as I get Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds on screen somehow, Deadpool Ghost Rider, make that happen. Thank you. I want that to happen. So that's where I'm at.
Let's go to the other person who's not exactly happy with Sean Levy hiring. Nick, how are you feeling about this film?
Look, I don't have the hate that for Sean Levy that a lot of people do. I think he makes a very particular kind of movie. My issue is I don't think Ghost Rider should be that kind of movie. I think this should be a DC style MCU film if done right. It should lean into that darkness. It should lean into that groundedness, especially if, as we spoke about before, if you're going to eventually parlay this into a Midnight Suns movie and maybe give Mahershala his chance to finally play Blade. But the tone of Sean Levy is a lot more similar to the Nick Cage Ghost Rider, which I don't think does a lot of is not really worthy of that character and the potential of that character. So I would have liked to have seen this go a darker turn. And before you say Sean Levy did Stranger Things, Sean Levy has a style that 9 times out of 10 he is going to do. And I think that you have no reason to believe that he's not going to do this film in that style. And I just wish it went a different style.
I was going to wait my turn to say anything. I have one reason to believe it, and that is because your lead actor is the one who pitched the damn story. So if he pitched the story, came with comics saying that, hey, this is the storyline we should do, this is the story we should tell, clearly he's got a specific vision in mind and believes you should do it. But Rue, your thoughts?
I love any Schmodown connection that's positive. Thank you, Josh Horowitz, for bringing that in. I appreciate you. Secondly, I just love that the entirety of the internet, their entire reaction was Ryan Gosling, hell yeah. Sean Levy, ooh, damn.
So bad.
Like everywhere. Absolutely on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Shea Serrano's Good Movie Substack chat right now. That was the exact, everybody has the same one. So it has me thinking, one, I really hope Starfighter is really, really good because that will dissuade a lot of opposition. I actually like a lot of Sean Levy's movies. I'm with Nick. I don't see the darkness yet, but I have heard somebody talk about it. Actually might have been Greg and Corey on Rejects. Ghost Rider, if he's playing Johnny Blaze. Shout out to Gabriel Luna, who I really wish it was Robbie Reyes, but anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Johnny Blaze's story is a father-son story. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what Sean Levy does are father-son stories. Like from Adam Project to from
love that movie.
Real Steel, the Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like there's a lot of heart. So I don't doubt he can bring that aspect to it. I've yet to see the groundedness. So I am not mad at anybody's reaction of the hesitation, but I'm gonna give him the shot. Starfighter's definitely gonna, and the thing is, Starfighter is gonna help or hurt him, not necessarily because it's gonna be the similar type of movie, but how well does it deliver for another franchise that publicly seems to be down in the dumps, but will always be good and people will always go see. So that's the next thing for me. How does that play out? And then from there, let's see if we can do something different.
Listen, for me, if it can get going on father-son, it is kind of a father-son story because there's a lot of trauma and guilt, especially in Ghost Rider, because Johnny sells his soul. It's kind of like that but Johnny sells his soul to partly to try to save his dad.
Right.
And his dad had the same opportunity later on. And it's just this whole thing. It's shared father-son trauma. And I do enjoy that. But Sean Levy, I'm okay with him as a director. I mean, yes, he has a certain style for certain things. Free Guy, Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, he loves the silly out there kind of vibe at times. And he can get stuck. But some of the better episodes of Stranger Things that do have darker and sadder moments, he's done a great job in those episodes. And he was one of the largest helmers in that project. Now, unfortunately, season 5 is shit. But overall, I do think, especially if Gosling is going to have this producerial role and a massive hand in the story, then I feel more comfortable with him, especially considering they just came off working on this massive project with one another. So,
see, I have a lot more faith in Levy directing Starfighter than I do directing Ghost Rider. I think that, like you guys just brought up the Adam Project, I think that he can do that tonally. I think that That is almost a Star Wars adjacent feeling film at times with a lot of the themes and stuff within it.
Yep.
It's got an electric lightsaber instead of a lightsaber. Let's be honest. It's like a Star Wars film, period.
It is.
But I push back. Like, even like you bring up the Stranger thing, I think the Duffer Brothers had a lot of say in that way that story was going. And though I'm not going to knock Ryan Gosling, I do like this idea that whenever someone brings a story, that people treat it like it's automatically good. Like, we don't know that Ryan Gosling is a good writer. We don't know that he's a good storyteller. He's a good actor. It's like, I'm not here to talk shit about Spiral, but Chris Rock was like, I got a Saw movie for you. And we were like, cool, Chris Rock wrote a Saw movie. And then very few people saw it, and very few people liked it.
Well, we're not saying Gosling's going to write it, but he brought forward, using Marvel's own comics, hey, this, so like, he could not even be writing it, but he's like, here, I've given you an outline of what this should be. Now go get somebody else to write it for us.
He did. He gave a clear. I saw Feige say he gave a clear outline as to what that story is. Him and Levy brought that to him. But again, like, the only thing that I push back a little on is people who use the fact that Ryan Gosling came up with this treatment as a guaranteed positive, and I don't think it's a guaranteed anything. But I am happy for him because he is championed for this role for a very long time.
Yeah.
It reminds me very similar to Mahershala and Blade, and I'm glad he is going to get a chance to play the character. It's similar to Channing Tatum and Gambit. It was something he very clearly wanted to do for a very long time, and I'm glad he gets a chance to play him.
How much should I watch Drive? Because I have been
Oh,
waiting
yes.
for a long time.
Watch it. I watched it
heard
at
it.
like a 10 p.m. screening, which was a poor choice on my end because it's a very like long and slow film, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I have I think I said it in the chat, in our chat, but I have a thing about Ryan Gosling that I don't realize how good he is until I watch something he does. And I need to stop doubting him at everything except playing a cornerback, because he's a liability at cornerback. I can't never say that joke. That joke will always be said for the rest of my life. So shut up if you've heard it 50 million times.
But Rue, every white man is a liability at quarterback or cornerback that isn't named Cooper DeJean.
True, very true. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but how do y'all feel? What did y'all feel about Ryan as whatever Ghost Rider we get? Because all the attention has been going to Sean Levy, and not much has been said about, yay, Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. I need to see it.
So that's the perfect casting, honestly. He's more of a Johnny Blaze. There is another Ghost Rider who's waiting. I'm trying to get his name right now. But he is very much more of a Johnny Blaze type. Somebody did point out that the title that they use for this film, the title card that they use, is similar to this other Ghost Rider I was watching Coy's breakdown earlier. Parker Robbins, there we go. Parker Robbins or Danny Ketch, one of those two.
Danny Ketch, I've heard of Danny Ketch.
Chat says Danny Ketch.
Yeah, it's in the comments.
Thanks, chat.
Thank you, chat. I was not on the screen, but Danny Ketch. But it is very possible we have him as Danny Ketch, because that Ghost Rider logo is very similar to Danny Ketch's run as Ghost Rider. But I think he's the perfect Johnny Blaze. I honestly do, and that's someone. Yes, that is the hood. I looked at the wiki of Ghost Rider. I'm like, these are white people who were technically Ghost Rider. But yes, Jesse, that is the hood. But yeah, so I personally want Johnny Blaze. I feel like fans. It's very similar to a Fantastic Four situation where fans have wanted like a proper version of them for so long, and we want proper Johnny Blaze. Like Nick Cage did fine. It was a typical mid-2000s comic book movie, but overall, people want to have that. So,
yeah, Gosling's always good.
There's nothing about looking the same here, Jesse. Amarú, Jesus Christ. But no, Gosling has the range, and I think that'd be great.
Rue, if you haven't seen The Nice Guys, please watch it.
Yes,
that I have seen.
I was like,
it took me a long time, but I watched it, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
I was about to say, Nick was about to say, if he hasn't, he's fired.
Oh, I was hovering over the remove from chat button.
But
that one I've seen.
But yeah, so all right, we've talked about it a little bit, but we're gonna they did next. John Bernthal came out, he did his little thing, showed a clip of Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're not really gonna talk about that because we didn't see the clip and the description did leak online, but the movie people are starting to see the movie tomorrow, so it's not.
And
not
you can check out check out our bigger bite
Yeah.
in about a week on Brand New Day.
Yes.
On this channel.
Yeah, so not worried about that. But let's talk about the big boy that we got coming out at the end of the year, and that is there we go. Avengers Doomsday. This poster dropped.
So
An extended trailer drop. This poster is so beautiful. I know Nick doesn't agree, but it is so beautiful. And extended look dropped. Description of that was very Fantastic Four heavy, where it had the Four talking about Victor, his past, and then Reed getting up in Victor's face, saying, "Victor, did you do this? What did you do? This, that, and the other." And Victor talking about everyone living these stolen lives. I'm just like, yes, okay. And real quick, Kevin Feige. There's been conversation that a lot of people have had about the lack of buildup for Doom, and I think this is the time to talk about it now before we really dive further into everything Doomsday. You look like you had thoughts because I saw the smirk on your face. So I'll say this. I understand where people were like, oh, Thanos didn't have a build-up. Because, he was sitting in a chair, he had these post-credit scenes. He didn't have a build-up to the degree that people think he did, but you still had other characters speaking about him and his villainy throughout other films, which adds to why people were so already wary and scared of Thanos going into it. We don't have anything about Victor outside of him skipping the conference in Fantastic Four. So I'm not saying a villain can't be written beautifully, but for the people who are comparing it to a Darth Vader or a Hans Gruber, those characters were written were introduced at the inception point of those franchises. That is very different than being damn near 20 years into a franchise.
I will defend Feige because a lot of that was research. If you read the comics, then you already knew what they were doing.
Right.
If you didn't and you were a general audience member, I did my research. I didn't read the comics. The second I heard of an Infinity Stone, I was researching it on my own.
Same.
So the thing is that for general audiences, it may not have felt like a buildup, but for comic book readers, it might have. There's I feel like it was very separated. So I kind of understand where it was more breadcrumbing Thanos than actually doing a full buildup. But with Doom, I think in this particular case, first they have to retcon everything for whatever reason, because once you do multiverse, you can't go back from the multiverse. You gotta blow that up.
Multiverse, exactly.
Unless you have to destroy it. There's absolutely no way. So I think that they kind of put themselves in a corner, and then they had to do this. So they're fast tracking it. So in this particular case, the buildup necessarily is just for comic book readers. And there's been comic book films for an eternity. So it's just the fact that I think word of mouth, a lot of people already know who Doom is in relation to the Fantastic Four. I like this comment too, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will agree. Everyone's on the same page right now. And I think I know Rue did not feel this way. Nobody on our other channel that we do work on felt this way. I was very meh on the trailer, and I got clowned for it, but I really don't care. I was like, it's fine. There's
plenty of people who were meh about the trailer. I was hyped on the trailer because I really liked what we got, the original one. I wasn't Infinity War hype, and that goes into I don't mind Feige saying the comments he said about not having the build-up. I don't completely agree with him because I remember being in the theater at the end of the first Avengers after a whole marathon of the first phase 1 movies up to that, and people had been talking about Thanos ever since. They were trying to figure out who Thanos was from 2012 all the way to 2019, who he was, what was going on. Every time he came up in name or in cameo, it just made It just made him bigger and bigger and bigger. But literally, as you all were talking about this, we were talking about it right now. I cannot wait until Secret Wars is done so we can get out of the uncontrollable things that Feige has to deal with, because who Thanos was supposed to be was Kang. Kang was set up.
Who Doom was supposed to be? You mean who?
No. So, yeah, that's what I'm. But I'm no. Who Thanos was supposed to be compared to?
Yes.
Who Thanos was in Fate in the Infinity Saga is Kang.
It matters, Jesse. You matter.
In this saga, Kang was introduced in Quantumania, and he was probably supposed to continue to go on. And Doom was going to be the punch in the mouth in Kang's dynasty that says, "Wait a second, who is this dude?"
Yeah.
Us comic book or comic fans would have been like, "Oh shit, perfect way to introduce him." I never read. I don't read comics as much. I just know the TV shows and stuff. But I hear through osmosis, and people who didn't know about him would have been like, "What the fuck is happening? Why is Kang dead? Who is this dude?" Perfect. They had to pivot. So I am waiting for, with the entirety of the Marvel conversation, for them to be able to do like they did with Daredevil season 2, start on their own foot again. They are still recovering from COVID and writer strike and Jonathan Majors, and they're still
Bob Chapek. Don't forget Bob Chapek.
All of that. So once like Secret Wars is done and they can do whatever they're doing. It's one reason I really liked this whole Hall H presentation, getting back to like what they did before, of not throwing everything at us.
Yes.
Just giving you what's coming up next, and I'm giving you 2 new things. And that's about the pace they should be doing. So I that's where I'm at with that whole conversation.
Well, I'll say this. They can't really give out too much because then you risk spoiling Doomsday. I was shocked that they didn't push back Secret Wars, a movie that hasn't started filming yet and is supposed to come out in about 15 months from now. Like, I don't think that's happening. Personal opinion. That's going to be pushing it. But I did like that they didn't give us a ton, but they gave us just enough to get you excited. And I saw that polls have been saying that 56% of fans were disappointed. People got to remember, Disney owns Marvel, and what is in 3 weeks? Actually, 3 weeks. D23. That is their own Comic-Con. They could be saving like the big hitting news for them. Because, like, listen, a moment like what we'll talk about after we finish Doomsday, that's a Comic-Con moment. Showing off your wares and giving the future of your franchise, that seems like that's reserved for a D23 moment going forward. But back to the actual panel side of things. They brought out the cast. You got to see Downey in this green suit. They had the Avengers on one stage, the X-Men on another stage, brought them all out there. And then we get this really interesting moment from a Canadian fellow who interrupts in a Jean Grey Deadpool suit.
Legend. I love him.
He put out a post like I did. He went around the Comic-Con yesterday, no security, no nothing.
Yeah, that was cool.
And just he's like, nobody knew it was me, and now people are learning that it's me after the fact, and they get that really cool moment. I'm just like, wow.
He's the best.
Yeah, they essentially hinting that he is in the film, because it was like people saying, "Oh, are they going to try to squeeze Deadpool in now?" Because the joke was, he was saying, "Do you have the budget and time to fit a Deadpool in?" And they're like, "That's coming out soon." I don't know, but there were rumors earlier last year, or was it earlier this year when they were filming, that that Reynolds was spotted on set or in London and he's also a guy who's in the UK a ton because his soccer team is in the UK. So keep that in mind. So he's there quite a bit. He could easily have gone on set a couple of days and filmed whatever he needed to film. So, but what did you guys think of the Gosling moment? I'm going to go to the Canadians on this.
Do you mean Reynolds moment? You got your
Yes,
Canadian
right,
Ryans
sorry.
confused.
Yes, they're both Canadian. Sorry, the Canadians just take it away.
I'll be honest. I kind of hope he's not in it. Not because I don't want to see Deadpool come into the MCU. I think there is a place for him there. I don't want Doomsday to be every single MCU character shows up here. I would like to have some pieces that we kind of keep outside of that a little bit. But I think the big thing, going back to what we were talking about before Reynolds came in, is I push back a little on the comment about the trailer and stuff like that. If you aren't inundated with the comments, I think you have been told, aside from the 2005 movies, that the Fantastic Four is like a really big deal. In the comics, really big deal. But if all you're doing is like the movie thing, then you just kind of have the Ian Gruffold and Chris Evans and that kind of version of it, or sadly, depending on your age, the Miles Teller version of it. And Doctor Doom is the same way. You have been told throughout all this comic lore, he's a dynamic villain. He's one of the biggest villains Marvel still has yet to do. That's great. A lot of people don't read comics. And I think if you're giving me trailers that are going to set up Doomsday with this big bad that you're admittedly not really doing a good job of promoting in your earlier films, you got to show them to me. I don't care if you want to wait till D23. Like, you want me to care about this movie, aside from it just being like a new MCU film, give me a reason to be scared of Doom. Like, I don't, all I have is the 2005 version and the little bit I got at the end of the new Fantastic Four, which, as much as I like that movie, same thing. The Fantastic Four, they don't feel like world beaters to me. And I think that's a bigger part of the issue that Marvel has had lately, in that a lot of people are complaining about bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Doom. But I think the thing you have to look at is part of the reason he's coming back is because they've failed. They have out and out failed at most of the new characters they've introduced. Even like something like Thunderbolts that we were all quite high on. Those were a few of the few established characters, save for Lewis Pullman's character. But like Ironheart started good, didn't really land with people the same way. Any of these young Avengers that they've tried to do just aren't hitting the same way. Anthony Mackie as Captain America just hasn't hit the same way. You can fault the writing of the films or whatever, but like Robert Downey Jr. is not back as a cash grab. Robert Downey Jr. is back as an admission of failure. That we want people to care about these movies. We need to bring back the people they cared about.
Same with Chris Evans.
Same with Chris Evans. And I think that people need to, I almost wish Kevin Feige would come out and say, we got it wrong. We had a lot of things that were out of our control. The Jonathan Majors of it all. We got it wrong. But say you got it wrong. And
what's funny is that Mackie said it. Mackie did say it in an interview. Because he literally said, he was like, oh, did we do such a bad job? Like, I'm paraphrasing. And he's the only one that kind of came out and said it. He's like, you're realizing that Robert Downey Jr. comes back and you're like, we're really doing that bad the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, he made a joke out of it. But out of everyone, you're totally right. Like, just take accountability, I guess, of like the entire situation. So I do get you, Nick.
Yeah, because he did it for Blade. And it was actually so nice to see him in that interview talk about, like, I feel like a loser because Blade didn't work and I couldn't make it work with Mahershala. And I wish he was like, I feel like we fucked up. Like, we put out too much content. We were scaling back on it. So that's its own admission of
that one wasn't on him, though. It's been long understood that Bob Chapek was just like, hey,
it's still something happened, whether it's him or.
But it's my point is,
Marvel
I consider that on it one of those factors that is out of his control. Because if it's coming from the top down, and I'm afraid we might have lost Nick because he froze and now he's quiet. But if it's coming from the top, there he's back. But if it's coming from the top down, you can't control that. That is your boss. So that's I put in the factors that aren't in his control. He was told, we want to make Disney Plus successful. I want more of these movies out. Pump this out. I don't care about the quality. I want the quantity. So, oh no, we lost Nick again.
No.
He'll come back.
We'll
At some
hope.
point.
I'll drop him from now, so I don't have to look at a frozen screen. But that is stuff we have to consider. And I might tag in someone who's here in this chat because they didn't know if they'd be home in time. And if they're in the chat, I'm hoping they're home. So I'm gonna shoot them a message if they want to join, they can. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, but Amanda, you're the other Canadian. Yep, your thoughts.
So
Right.
here's the thing. Yay, Nick's back.
Okay, he's back.
Good. I will say, for me, like, you cast Ryan Reynolds to be the Deadpool. Like, he loves this character through and through. So he's just going to be Deadpool. And I feel like the internet just hates him for being Deadpool. But I'm like, that's his job. Like, this is what you want him to do. That can it get annoying? 100%. But that's Deadpool. Like, Deadpool is an annoying character. Like, even when they were asking questions back and forth with the rest of the cast, like, it's repetitive humor. It's not going to change. But, like, I was laughing because I want him to interact with Scott Lang. I want him to interact with these other characters, even like Spider-Man. Like, we're waiting on it. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, would I love to see Deadpool in literally everything? Yeah, because it comes down to, like, let him interact with different characters just to see what he's going to say type of thing, which is what he also does in the comics. So it's like, people getting mad at Reynolds, for me personally, it's like, but this is what he's going to do. Like, this is what you're hired him for type of thing. But I do understand in regards to Doomsday as a whole, going back to what we were originally talking about, I don't know how to feel about Robert Downey Jr. Like, I do like that he's back, but I think that it would have been nice to have someone else be Doom and to kind of, you know, give someone else a chance. But I do think that the emotional depth is what's going to bring everyone back here, especially if, like, we get Tom Holland Spider-Man interacting with Doom and, like, he uncovers that it looks like Tony Stark. Like, it's that stuff that's gonna, like, punch. But then again, people who say, like, that's keys jangling or whatever, like, that type of situation is where it's like you're just forcing it down our throats. Like, people are gonna have different variations of that. But for the people that actually care about this stuff, bringing him back will offer that emotional connection again to these characters, which has been lacking. I don't think anyone is emotionally attached to anyone of the past, I don't know what, 7 years? Has it been 7 years since we've been throwing stuff around? I don't think anyone's emotionally attached to anyone. So if these characters die, it's kind of like, okay, cool, let's bring in the new one. Like, it's just that type of vibe where they're not going to have that depth like Infinity War had, unfortunately. Like, that's the problem here. So if they reboot it, clean slate, Secret Wars, I actually just bought the omnibus like today because I'm excited to read it just to see what the situation is. But I do think that, like, at this point, it comes down to character interactions that we do need just to kind of save something on screen. So that's where I'm at with Deadpool particularly.
The only thing I think about the Robert Downey Jr. of it all, and it might sound sacrilegious to say this, but I kind of wish they brought him back as Tony. And for you to, the argument is going to be he got this wonderful, great send-off as Tony, and you've got the multiverse to explain how he could be back. Hugh Jackman got a beautiful send-off in Logan, and I didn't want to see him continue with that at all, but we got it.
Yeah.
So if you're showing that you can do that, to me, an alternate universe Tony, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony, and having him not have those relationships necessarily in the same way that he has with the other characters. And if Doom is not going to be a villain of the film that's going to get killed off immediately, which I hope is not the case, you give someone else a chance to continue being Doom, but you still get to bring back Tony in the way that you're bringing back Steve.
But they've already said that their plan is to carry Downey as Doom going forward. So there's that.
But are they carrying? Yeah. It doesn't make it a good plan. But I don't think he's going to be here for long. I'm going to be honest. Like, it could be to Secret Wars and then done because they have to rewire the whole thing.
So the reports have been past Secret Wars. So I do just want
Sorry.
to. That's why I had to bring it up. Bring it up
I
real
was
quick.
like, I don't want it.
The reports have been past Secret Wars. And this is someone. This does become a role that is like the Mandalorian, where he doesn't necessarily have to be the one hot or
Behind
under the
that.
suit. He just has to be
Yeah.
the voice behind it. So
Yeah,
do
I
wanna
mean,
point that out.
I don't mind his take on the Doom voice. I kind of
Oh,
like
neither
it.
do I. But
So
I'm
It's
gonna
good.
bring up these two comments real quick. One, we got the multiverse. The biggest issue the MCU has right now is we are about to have an Avengers film, and we have no idea who the Avengers are. Yes, that is something I really need to bring up, because that is part of the reason I think I didn't have the connection. Like,
Yeah.
cool. You want to know what I was most excited about? Seeing Gambit and seeing Shuri and Namor. I didn't give a fuck about the rest of the trailer, if I'm being honest.
And that's the problem. But we also like, it breaks my heart because I love Captain America. I freaking love Mackie. I love Sam Wilson.
yes.
No one cares that he's leading this thing. And it is going to be him leading it. Yeah. Facts. Oh my God. Yes.
That should have been the movie.
Sorry.
That, Amanda,
You know what
I pulled
pissed me off?
Started that off because that is a comment that should have just been the new Captain
Facts.
America movie.
Facts. Because the fact that he had to prove himself again in a full-blown 2-hour film annoyed me, because he proved himself to get that shield in the show. There was no need. Sorry, I'm yelling. But like,
You're
I
fine.
get so mad with it. I get so pissed off.
You can see this episode of her on a bigger bite on the Captain America Brave New
Like,
World episode we did.
Yeah, like it's so upsetting. And like, he doesn't get the credit that he needs. The dude has been working in this industry for so long. And for him like to lead a Captain America film and no one cares that he's freaking leading the Avengers is annoying. Also, like, where's Carol Danvers? Dude, what are we doing? Why aren't you putting Carol in this thing, who's also supposed to lead them? I don't understand. Like, she's not in it and she's powerful. She is their, like, literally their escape route all the time. And they never put her in against a massive threat, i.e. Doomsday. Sorry, like Doom. Like, I just don't understand why they don't do it. I'm off my soapbox.
I've always wondered about whether or not Captain Marvel was too OP for them and they want to just use her sparingly, just like they did in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Doom would be the person, though. Doom would be the person.
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
she's got that Superman inevitability to her that I don't think Marvel knows how to handle. Like, this is just an eater of worlds. Like, they had that issue with Thor originally, where it's just like, how do we deal with an undisputable good guy?
Yeah.
In villains, they work. In villains, you can have eaters of worlds, but to have a dominant good character, they always feel like they need to put some kind of a flaw into them to make them work.
I'm gonna check something real quick.
Didn't hit the enter chat fast enough.
I was about to introduce him. There we go.
Come on back, Monty.
Well, real quick, we have another special guest joining us. We didn't know if he was going to be here in time, but I kept things made just in case. We got Monty from the Montyverse here.
What's up, everybody?
Stay
Hello,
versed,
guy.
my friend.
What's up?
What's going on?
Nice
So
high. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Sick.
Doomed up. I'm all doomed up right now.
Love it.
All right, Monty. We got to get your thoughts, because this is like in my
On what?
opinion.
I have so many. On what?
Right now, Doomsday. But this is, for those who don't know, this is, in my opinion, the preeminent guy anyone should be following when it comes to Marvel or DC content. And I know he's gonna love when we get the lanterns here in a little bit. But
I love it. Love
Monty,
it.
your thoughts on Doomsday?
Doomsday. I don't know. It's mixed the way that it should be, right? It's optimism that the fact that they've been focusing solely on Doomsday and Secret Wars for the past like 3 years now means that they've found something that works. But at the same time, I think Doomsday as a whole represents a 7 to 8 year stretch of the MCU where they just didn't know what they were doing. They were trying new things that didn't work. And now it's one big, we're just going to kind of throw everything at you that we think you want. And it's fine. I'm excited for Doom. I'm excited for the X-Men. I feel like that should be like the fact that the trailer on Monday did not tease the fact that we're seeing the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four share the screen for the first time. The fact that wasn't the story of the trailer really annoyed me. And I think that would have been better as opposed to a whole trailer of Thor just telling us how powerful Doom is. I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. My thoughts are they should have released the trailer that they showed at Hall H to the general audience, because it's a much better trailer. It's a trailer that I think sets up the threat of Doom and the story of Doom more than the Thor trailer did. So I'm very confused by the marketing of this movie. I've always been confused by the marketing of this movie. I think that's the first failure of Doomsday, is the marketing. I think those 4 theater exclusive trailers were cool in concept, horrible in execution. People got to see them early in theaters, and then 10 seconds later they were online in potato cam footage, and everyone got to watch them in potato cam before they released them officially the next week. And it was just, the whole thing is just very head scratch. The fact that I saw Doom as a Lego, as a Funko Pop, as a
reaction figure,
as an action figure before I saw an official poster of Doom bothers me. Like guys, we're talking about things that are simple, things that are easy to do, things that like you could have dropped a teaser poster of Doom 6 months ago, and the fans would have
could have been Doom.
Could have been Doom, and fans would have lost their shit, and they would have done what fans do, and they would have went online and screamed into a camera for 30 seconds about how great it is, and that would have solved a lot of your problems. But no, it's July, and we just got our first official look at Dr. Doom for a movie that comes out in 4 months? Crazy.
Roughly, yeah.
For people who talk about like the buildup of Thanos, like you didn't have to do the buildup of Doom within a film. Like you said, you could have just done Doom as a teaser and gotten the excitement about it. To make this whole movie surrounding Dr. Doom and not show him for the majority of it, for the majority of the marketing, is baffling to me. And look, I have nostalgia for Fox's X-Men as much as the next guy, but it does feel inevitable in this film that we're just going to kill all these off and we're going to get a new version of the X-Men. And to me, that is the ace in Marvel's pocket that we're interested in. And I'm basically being told with these guys coming back that ace is not going to be revealed till like 2029 of the new X-Men on screen. Like I get that this is a closing of like this chapter of the MCU, but it really is just time to go on to the next book and having a whole new X-Men and restarting these characters. And I'm going to feel cool seeing Ian McKellen and James Marsden and stuff back on screen. And obviously to be determined what the deal is with Hugh Jackman, which is another thing. Probably the X-Men that people have the most nostalgia for is nowhere to be found in the Doomsday marketing. So I just don't know what they're doing with this, with the Fox X-Men, and what they think it's going to intrigue people because you know, it's not like Infinity War, where like the snap and you have an idea who's coming back, who's not. You know, these guys are all toast. Aside from the fact they're all old actors, you know they're all toast.
You make your point, and then we're going to move on to the next story.
Yeah. And this is perfect because I'm closing it out. Like, I will say this introduction of Ghost Rider as the only new thing is like, they are finally moving on. This is the first new thing that is like not attached to anything. They finally feel like they can move on. And I just always find it hilarious and interesting because I talk to you all the time, but I also talk to a lot of people that don't know shit about shit. And I think they are banking on the fact that just regular moviegoers who are much bigger in population than us are fucking hyped. Because everybody that I know that is not in this space texted me, fire trailer. That trailer was dope. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Happened with
While all of this is true, I do think they're just going to bank on, because I actually do think it's going to make a whole lot of fucking money. Just let's finish on making this money. Let's close this all out. And I hope for our sake on top of that, like I said, once Secret Wars is done, whatever they move on with and whatever they keep and whatever they move, it's a clean slate. This is why I cannot wait for that to end. While I'm excited for both movies.
Do need to point out pre-sales made over 15 million with over 1,000 houses. That's not like that's like a third of what's going to be available later on. So
I mean, but let's just oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm just gonna let's just say the quiet part out loud. If an Avengers movie can't crack $1 billion, we have a problem. This movie's gonna make money, but it needs to make money. Like the other, unlike any other Avengers movie besides the first one, this movie has to make money, and it has to make a lot of money.
And also, it has competition with overlapping audience, which isn't a great thing.
I think it's two separate. Yeah, it's two separate audiences,
and also Doomsday is too big a thing. Even if it's not Barbenheimer.
Yeah, I agree because I also think that like let's just say Dune's sold out. The people who like are also like fans, they're gonna like run to go see like Doomsday at the same time. So like that you have that in factor. So if they can't go see Dune, they're gonna go see Doomsday. Versus if they can't go see Doomsday at that given time, they're gonna go see like Dune. So they're like it's that kind of like range, but also like I feel like Dune is not as big as like the MCU as displayed.
You'd be surprised. It's big in the film space. It's not gonna make Avengers money.
It's growing, but
it's growing, but I don't think it's gonna make Avengers. I completely agree with you in that case. I don't think it'll hit that.
It's surprisingly big with the audience that the MCU has lost, which is Gen Z and Gen Alpha. It is very big with younger audiences. Yeah. And those are the audiences that Marvel is trying desperately to win back with their next slate of films. The next 3 movies post Secret Wars, which are X-Men, Black Panther 3, and Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
But speaking of Black Panther 3...
Well, just before you get to that, Matt, I will say the one thing that going back to the generational aspect of it, the one thing that Dune is doing that the MCU is not, is they have 2 of the top young male actors working today in that film, in Timothée Chalamet and Robert Pattinson, that generation gravitates a lot towards.
And 2 of the top female actresses.
And they don't have that, but specifically to Doomsday, they're leading that film by a lot of older actors. They don't really have... All their young upstarts are not big named young actors. Like you have Florence Pugh. That's kind of your one. And you don't have any idea that she's going to be a central focus in this film. So that's the one thing where you talk about the generational gap and the film fan side of things. Those marquee names, I think, are really helping something like Dune. And I don't think the marquee names in Avengers are helping it as much as the Avengers of it all.
And that was the plan.
Yeah, that I agree with that, but I do think that they're trying to like relaunch certain things and have people go back to watch everything. Like I already started my marathon. It's just a simple fact. I think they're trying to get the young ones to get back into it and go watch everything from the beginning by dropping all of these characters. Like, well, I have to watch this to prepare and I have to watch this to prepare. And I think that's what's going to bring in the young ones, hopefully.
I think it's the opposite. I think they're trying to tell young people, like, we're getting rid of all these people. So, like, you could watch this, and we're going to start over. Because if we really move on from this and then talk about what they have announced already, you'll see. Because I already saw in between the lines when I saw who they're looking at for the X-Men. They shifted that cast demographic down about 5 to 10 years. They were looking at early 30s, late 20s, and now they're solely looking at early 20s. They know exactly what they're doing. They have a marketing plan for the next phase, and that is to get in as many young people as possible, starting with the X-Men.
Yeah.
And speaking of the next phase, and we already said this film was now announced. It was officially December 15th, 2028 in 70mm IMAX partially, Black Panther 3. But that wasn't the big thing to come out of it. The big thing that I know myself, Amanda, Rue, and Monty all celebrated was the announcement of Prince T'Challa II, David Johnson.
Don't leave Nick out of that. Nick is a big DJ supporter.
I did not know if Nick was a big DJ fan, but
huge one.
I saw. My point is, I saw the 4 of us all freaking out about it. I didn't see Nick freaking out about it on social. So
Nick, you were supposed to freak out about it. What is this? Why
I
wouldn't you freak
DM'd him
out?
personally to
That's not
congratulate him.
enough, man. That's not enough.
Oh, plus,
I
I
have a-
didn't know Nick's. I didn't know Nick's stance, so I was just.
I have a
fine.
DM history with that man. He is a lovely
Screenshots or it
gentleman.
didn't happen. Sorry.
He's a lovely gentleman that I had a chance to meet at TIFF, and I wish nothing but the best for this guy. He seems like the most genuine, down-to-earth person I've had the pleasure of meeting in this space, and I think he's been great in everything I've seen him for. This is the most excited I've been for an MCU casting probably since Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.
I
in
can-
what?
as the OG Iron
as
Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
For
I've
me,
been
the most
excited
excited
about
I've
other
ever
stuff.
been was Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. Hold on.
I didn't know Chad. I knew Chadwick, but I didn't know him like that. So I definitely more.
Chadwick became my favorite working actor after one performance, 42, and I was like,
So here we go. This is what me and Nick feel. Me and Nick have been on the DJ train.
I've been
for
on the
a long
DJ train
time.
since Alien
Yep.
Romulus. So
and I'm with you. And I'm with you. Your love that you
Rylane,
had
shout
after
out.
42.
I was going to say, shout out Rylane.
Shout out Riley.
Yes. Like me and Nick since TIFF of last year, I was already like with Wasteman. Go see Wasteman. If you have not
So
found a
good.
way to go see Wasteman, go see Wasteman.
So good.
Sadly,
like-
a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
I think it's streaming now, actually.
I yelled out "oh shit" in my living room like it was game 4 of the Knicks in the OG tip, or if it was Dante Vincenzo beating the 76ers 2 years ago, or any of those things that make me say "oh shit." And more so, the fact that I didn't even think about him. I don't even know why I didn't think about him. Probably because Damn to Ninjas was out there for so much and all that.
Yeah.
And when they said it, and they said he was Toussaint, T'Challa 2, I was like, fuck yes.
Dude.
This is the perfect casting. Absolutely.
I thought that it was kind of a no-brainer we were going to get Gosling as Ghost Rider, and I thought the secondary no-brainer was we were going to get Denzel in Black Panther 3. And the David Johnson announcement excited me more than the Denzel one.
Yes.
Like,
Same.
if I didn't get Denzel, they gave me genuinely something better to me, because I think this is one of the young actors that you want to get your hooks into.
Yes. Monty, your thoughts, sir?
I think it's a chess move. It's a really interesting chess move. I think it's a great chess move. I think David Johnson is one, again, like they're trying to get their hooks into all of these young actors that have any sort of traction with young audiences, as well as have any modicum of talent, which is very hard to find in these younger actors nowadays. They don't stand out as much as they used to. David Johnson is one that stands out. And I think The Long Walk, him and Cooper Hoffman were both excellent in that movie. And that movie was so hyper successful, beyond just the fact that both of them were good before that movie. That movie was so hyper successful with their target demographic that they're looking to aim at, that it was a no-brainer that they were going to bring them both in at some point for roles. The fact that Johnson is now becoming a spotlight character in the MCU is really big. I see both sides. I know people are upset that this is not a full recast of T'Challa and that this is just a continuation of the Toussaint lore. But I also ask those people to look at it from a perspective outside of like Disney, because I know Disney and Marvel can be a little messed up in terms of how they treat characters. But I do think that this is more of a Coogler decision. I think that if you really paid attention to Black Panther 2, you'll see how emotional and how difficult it was for Ryan Coogler to make that movie. And I think for him, he couldn't justify erasing the legacy of his friend, even though it's better for the character and better for young Black actors to have a character that they can inherit through generations. So I think this was his caveat. He's like, this way the movies can still focus around the legacy that Chadwick created with his T'Challa, but I could still give audiences a T'Challa to follow post Secret Wars, because I do think people are now like, oh, well, the MCU is not full rebooting after Secret Wars. That means, and I'm just like, it never was.
It was always a soft reboot.
Yeah, it was a soft reboot. Secret Wars never ended in a Crisis on Infinite Earths full reboot. It always was a soft reboot. They're going to keep what they like, get rid of what they don't, and that just means they're going to start recasting again, which I think is a smart decision, because I think no actor should be beyond a character. I don't think Hugh Jackman should be the only Wolverine. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. should be the only Iron Man. I feel like these characters should live beyond their actors. as legacies, the way that James Bond did. That's why Spider-Man is so huge. That's why Batman is so huge. So yeah, you have to make these characters larger than life, and I think this is a smart decision.
So speaking about Coogler decisions, there was a story that came out earlier today via Empire where Kevin Feige was talking about how they landed on David Johnson. I don't know why I blinked right there. But essentially, Feige talked about they hadn't started searching yet, and they're waiting to talk to Coogler until after the Sinners Oscar campaign. And a month and a half before the process of searching even started, Coogler's like, I found him. Feige goes, what do you mean? He's like, I found him. He's this guy, David Johnson. He mentioned how he'd just seen The Long Walk and other films that he'd done. And Coogler says, I'm going to meet him. Had a secret meeting with him in a hotel under darkness and called him afterwards and said, he's the guy. I feel it in my soul. I feel it. He's a good man. He's the next Black Panther. And Feige just went along with, let's do it. Also, that just speaks to the power Coogler has. You make a film like, let's be honest, the man hasn't made a miss. He hasn't made a miss.
No.
And he's getting them to film on 70 millimeter IMAX, the first Marvel, and I could arguably say potentially Disney film to do so. So I know personally, I'll be making the trek out to either New York or Indianapolis to watch that in 70 millimeter when it comes out. I'm already making plans with friends for that. But
I don't want to take anything away from the success of Sinners, but I'll push back on that I think that Coogler within the MCU had that power after Black Panther 2. I think that it's an attachment to this franchise.
No,
I don't think
that's true.
Sinners maybe is your explanation for the 70 millimeter.
That is exactly what it is.
That's
exactly
picking
what it is.
his guy. I think that they have so much faith in this man to pick his guy, and I wish so wholeheartedly that they did this with other directors, not all their directors, but with other directors, because it just goes back to like going way back into the MCU. What was Edgar Wright's Ant-Man going to look like? Because it was too unlike what they viewed and they wanted to get their hands on. And it's just moments like that you probably could have got something great if you let these directors act with what gave them the name that you would hire them, instead of just kind of micromanaging like Star Wars did.
Yeah.
My question with this, and just to like wrap up everybody else said, the Chadwick Boseman thing, there's no right answer to that. There's like you recasted him, people will be mad. You don't recast him, people are going to be mad.
Yeah.
And Coogler making the decision, whatever it was, trust in him. The two things I've been seeing is one, people talking about how short David Johnson is, and I just think that's hilarious.
Leave him alone.
But leave him alone on that. But the other one that people have been bringing up, like Lon was talking about it, Harrison was talking about it, that I'm actually genuinely curious about, that I'm like, Ryan Coogler is going to come up with a story that makes a whole bunch of sense, and it's going to be great. Mm-hmm. David Johnson is 32, and Lil Toussaint was about like 8.
It's called Secret Wars. Secret
4
Wars
years ago.
Doomsday is how you age them up.
How? Like, without giving things away, that's the question everybody has.
They're going to fuck with time. That's literally all it is. They're going to fuck with time.
Yeah.
I just think they're going to rewrite history. It'll be like, he was born sooner. He was there for the Killmonger stuff. He was there for
and actually got to know his father and was
he got to learn from his father and his grandfather and Queen Ramonda, and
because that's why he'd be Prince T'Challa now, because technically M'Baku's king right now, if I remember correctly. Monty, am I wrong?
You're right, but at the end of the movie, at the end of Wakanda Forever, after Shuri cedes like the throne to M'Baku, he still calls himself Prince T'Challa when he introduces himself.
He does,
because he was born of royal blood, so I can understand that. But.
So he's got a claim to the throne, just like they'll fight it out.
Yeah,
they'll fight it out.
I have a question before you get into it.
Yeah,
because for a lot of people don't know, M'Baku is typically a villain. He's man-ape.
So is Nakia.
Yeah. So, Monty, I asked you this as the big Marvel guy. Do you think that could end up turning Winston Duke's M'Baku into a villain going forward if they...
I don't think so. I think he's too well liked. And there's so many other Black Panther villains that you could utilize that they can pull from the comics. I don't think they need to do that. I think that it would be better to just keep him as a supporting cast. Like, you want to have a hero with a great supporting cast. You already lost a lot of that supporting cast in the past two movies. So you keep him around as an advisor. You need that strong masculine presence in the movie, as well as that strong female presence in this movie to get like all perspectives. You know, I want him to be. I think this is a great opportunity to have a T'Challa that's more like the comic book T'Challa than Chadwick's was. Maybe
in that the sense of marrying Storm.
Well, him and Storm are going to be around the same age now, around similar ages at this point, so that could work. Also, T'Challa was an aggressive technologist in the comics. Like, he was very smart. He was an inventor. I mean, he was a member of the Illuminati for a reason. He was considered one of the most powerful minds on Earth for a reason. So I'd love to see him get more of that, maybe from training with Shuri, maybe from being like Shuri's protege. We'll see a lot more of that, and I'm excited to see the different interpretation of T'Challa.
And I was
just saying, it's that's going to be the interesting part for me. It's 2.5 fucking years away, so we'll see what all the news is going to matriculate. But that'll be the interesting part for me. That is the one thing that I am not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They need to make sure the multiverse timey-wimey stuff makes all the sense in the world, because this is too important. Personally, to me, with David Johnson, with Ryan Coogler, and all of that, that's got to make sense, and that's what I'm interested in a lot at this moment.
All right,
I do want to push back on Rue a little when you said there's no right answer. I think it's a very bad look for two reasons if you recast actual T'Challa. One, I don't think that Chadwick should be the first main character that's recasted. If you were going to do that, you would need to have someone else. And also, even though it's not necessarily the MCU's fault, having your only two recastings be prominent black actors is a really bad look for that franchise.
Both of those are correct, except I'll tell you, a big proponent of recasting T'Challa was the black community in general, because they were talking about the character and not the guy. So that's why I say it's an impossible thing to answer, because you're not wrong. But also, there are a lot of voices in the black community that are like, why is the only character? We just got a new Thunderbolt Ross. Why are we not recasting?
Yeah, and I've also heard that too.
Yeah, so that is why I say what it is, because nothing of what you just said was incorrect.
Yeah. They were never going to get a right way to do it. It's just it's better for them to address it now and push it forward, so everyone has a time to kind of mourn the way that they wanted it to be.
Yes.
And before we do send off of the Black Panther stuff, I do want to touch on the 70mm aspect of it, because I think that's brilliant. Not only from a film standpoint, but from a marketing standpoint.
Yes.
If you have been watching the Odyssey stuff, you'll hear Christopher Nolan talk about how much he respects Ryan Coogler, and how Ryan Coogler has been studying the use of the IMAX camera and 70mm filming under him for the past couple of movies. Mm-hmm. So that is really exciting to hear that he's now going to bring that to a superhero movie. But not only that, you see that 70mm is being used as a huge marketing point for films nowadays, because they realize that younger people like Gen Z, they are more into movies. They're more into the art aspect of cinema. They're less sex driven and more art driven. And I think that they realize they can use that to market this movie and make more money off of it. Because at the end of the day, with Disney, everything's a business move, as opposed to doing cheap, stupid shit like Infinity Vision, which I think is disgusting.
Yes, agreed.
Oh,
and that's where I'll end that.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you guys this. Monty's going to talk a lot more in a minute, because we're going to move on to what I think Rue, Nick, and I discussed this.
Matchbox.
No. What I thought was the clear winner of Comic-Con this weekend, and has turned a lot of fans around. But I know Monty feels a certain way about one character at least.
Who, that bitch, Hal Jordan? There he is. There he is.
Damn.
There we go.
I love it.
I didn't even have to say who it was. He was like, I'll say it myself.
See, but I like Hal Jordan on Lanterns, because they're actually doing Hal Jordan. They're not doing the Jeff Johns apology tour. I promise you Hal Jordan's cool because he's my Green Lantern. They're doing actual Hal Jordan from the comics, which I like.
Please explain to those who don't know who actual Hal Jordan is.
He's just a piece of shit. He's just one of the most selfish, unlikable people you've ever met, with the most powerful weapon in the universe strapped to his finger. That's Hal Jordan.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
What? Straight up.
Yeah. Because like again, Monty is is the guy I go to a lot for comic book stuff. And we were talking about this, and he's just like, he sent me stuff. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. My intro to Green Lantern, for the most part, was reading that Jeff Johns run that he calls the Apology Tour, and seeing like First Flight and unfortunately the Ryan Reynolds film. And so like I've always only known that Hal Jordan. So like to have my eyes opened up, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Thank you, Monty. But no, this trailer, because the marketing it's people either loved it or hate it, and this is the first thing that it seems like everybody is really on board for. So this first trailer gave fans a lot of great looks. You get to see Hal and John working together. A really beautiful moment between Hal and Sinestro, where Sinestro's like, no, let's be honest. Say who he is, because he's not your understudy. This motherfucker's your replacement. So I love that. And then just listen, that ring is beautiful. I know two people on this panel may or may not have already bought that ring. Me being one of them. But yeah. What are everyone's thoughts? We're gonna start with Amanda. What did you think of the Lanterns today?
I thought it was good. I'm excited for it. I really am. I think we can finally get a decent live action, like Green Lantern action there. I think the casting's great. I think we can finally erase what Ryan Reynolds did in that movie, even though I didn't think it was terrible. It's watchable, but not my favorite thing. So it's there. I'm excited. I'm excited for Kyle Chandler. I think it looks good. And I'm happy it's a TV series.
Yes.
I think that's the thing, because I think there's too much lore. There's way too much to cover in a film. And I think that if we can unpack it as a TV series, it's going to be really awesome. And the characters, even Jon Stewart, they both need their time in the spotlight. And I think this is the best way to do it. So I'm really excited. I am.
Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked it. I've been quite high on Aaron Pierre ever since I saw him in a movie called Brother. Looking forward to just what he was going to do next. And I think he commands a screen in the way that not every actor can, which I think is a prominent thing that you need to be able to do to be a superhero. And I also think that DC has definitely had its detractors, but they've kind of killed it on the TV side. Whether it's Penguin, whether it's Peacemaker, whether it's Creature Commandos, like they're on the TV side, DC's kind of nailing it. So I have no reason to expect that this is going to be anything less. And of course, the HBO of it all is a big part as well.
Yeah.
Rue, your thoughts?
I'm going to agree with the whole sentiment. I have always been a Marvel over DC guy, but liking both always. And James Gunn is doing all the right things, even with me not liking Supergirl. They are making the movies they want to make. They're making the shows they want to make. They're doing a range of them right away. They're not scared. They also have had years and years of Marvel showing them over time, and DC before this iteration showing them over time with Deadpool, with Birds of Prey, with all the other things. We can finally do like a range of ratings and genres and movies, and going straight out from the jump, basically showing that superhero movies can be any genre. And with this one, I really like the HBO procedural of it all. It's going to bring a lot of people in just to watch a procedural, to then say, oh shit, some of this comic book stuff is also really cool. I was very upset, relatively to me being upset, to when I heard that Harry Lennox was really Martian Manhunter, and we never actually got that. So the mention of the Manhunters made me
got
go
it
like,
in the
oh,
Snyder cut. Be happy.
Got it. Whatever. That made me sit forward even more, because I already really love Aaron Pierre. Kyle Chandler is a dude that kills it in basically anything that he's in, and very random singular thing. Anything Jasmine Cephas Jones is in, I am watching automatically. Shout out to Blind Spotting, because I got to mention that at all times too.
So I'll say this. I am very interested in the show regardless because I am a big Green Lantern fan, whether that be from my exposure via the Justice League or Justice League in Unlimited animated series, or the Kyle Rayner introduction in Superman the animated series. There's a lot I do care about when it comes to that character that I'm excited for that reason. All right. So I was already like, I still have this ring. That is like what at this point, like 12 or excuse me, like 15 years old, 15,
Yeah,
14 years
about.
old. And this isn't even the good one. This is the one that was on a keychain that I just said, "Fuck it, I'm taking out the keychain and wearing it." But yeah, I love the character. I have always loved the character of the Green Lanterns. It's always been interesting to me because I love the space cop of it all. But Rue touched on what my favorite thing about the DCU has been so far, and that is the fact that each film has its own feel. It's the thing people have complained about for years when it comes to Marvel films is these all feel similar. These all feel the same. And Creature Commandos felt different than Peacemaker. Peacemaker felt different than Superman. Superman seems like it's going to be different from this. Supergirl and Superman were similar, but still had their own feels for the most part, although Supergirl just tried to be a James Gunn film, not directed by James Gunn at points, and that was kind of upsetting because I'm a big fan of Craig Gillespie because I was like, oh, yeah. Cool, we got. But either way, they have not been afraid to just be like, hey, we're gonna do this, and we're doing it our way, and this is why I'm like, all right, cool, I'm here for the ride. Let's go. Because the other film we'll talk about here in a minute, even though the trailer technically dropped right before Comic-Con, it's still Comic-Con adjacent because they talked about that they had a panel and everything there, so we're going to talk about it. That looks like it's going to have its own feel. So I am just here for it. I can't wait to swap this ring out for the ring that's coming in the mail this week. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. I'm excited. I know I will have access to screeners soon. That's all I'll say. I
like that Hal Jordan is an asshole because I really love to hate Kyle Chandler and things. I think he's such a smarmy little piece of shit in so many things and does it so well. So I think knowing what Monty said about the character, I think that now, as high as I was on Aaron Pierre, I think the Kyle Chandler casting is pitch perfect.
He's going to be great.
He counterfeits $1 with his ring. I mean, come on.
That's classic Hal. Rue, I hate to break it to you. I don't know if you found this out, but I think those are different Manhunters. Those are not the Manhunters from Mars.
Correct. Although they are leaning into it seemingly based off of...
That was trick editing, which this trailer is full of. Whoever edited this trailer, fantastic job. Yes. Because I watched it back frame by frame, and there are so many hidden cuts in here. It was truly impressive to watch and see how they hid stuff and how certain scenes are not the same scene that we think they are and how characters are not talking to who we think they're talking to. I was really impressed by the editing. But yeah, they're the Manhunters that the Green Lanterns face. They're the precursors to the Green Lanterns that were created by the Guardians of the Universe to be their first universal peacekeeping force. They're robots. It's complicated. We'll talk more about that later. But I will say about Lanterns is that for me, this was always the first test for the DCU. For the DCU that James Gunn promised we were getting. When I heard all the concepts, this one seemed the most out there. This one seemed the most risque in terms of like the characters they were choosing to tell a grounded, true detective-like story with. But I thought if they could nail the tone, this would be very well executed. And once I found out it was Damon Lindelof and Chris Mundy, I was sold because we talked about Creature Commandos, we talked about Peacemaker, we talked about Superman, hell, we even talked about Supergirl. The problem is, while those are different types of genres in the superhero, like grand genre, they all felt very similar. They all had that same James Gunn cadence to them. Supergirl, because they had to go back and edit a lot of that movie because it was just not, the first cut was just not what they were looking for. They gave Craig Gillespie a little bit too much freedom on that. I think they wanted someone to make a adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow, and he said, no, I want to make Fury Road. and I want Supergirl to be my Furiosa. And if you watch Supergirl with that in mind, you can very clearly see the vision of that movie. And by the time they caught it, it was too expensive to change everything about the movie, so they had to edit it like that. But I will say that Lanterns, to me, is the first true test of the DCU because it looks unlike anything we've seen before in the DCU. And it looks like they're taking risks creatively with characters that we know, but also it seems that it fits these characters well. Like, to tell a story about space cops that is true detective, that focuses on the detective aspect of it while still embracing that sci-fi element, which everyone was so worried about in the first teaser, which was full of stuff that was probably going to happen like 30 minutes into the first episode, is really impressive. I think the trailer should impress people because I think we're in for something truly special with Lanterns. And I think that the trailer is the first indication of that with Kyle Chandler's performance, with Aaron Pierre's performance. I think their real life chemistry is just as good as their on-screen chemistry is going to be. So for me, I'm really excited because it looks like they're embracing and taking a lot of stuff from all throughout Lantern mythology, not just like Earth 1, which they used for all the promo art. I saw like hard traveling hero stuff in there. I saw Silver Age Hal Jordan stuff in there. I saw some of the John stuff in there, like Secret Origin, tease some stuff. And like the use of Manhunters, the use of the Guardians of the Universe being in there. They're definitely doing a Green Lantern show. We're going to see like Green Lantern stuff. I think people should freak out less about teaser trailers than they do. And we should have a little bit more patience, but I know that's asking for a lot in 2026. So
yeah. No, that's absolutely fair. But speaking of different vibes and everything when it comes to the DC, let's move on because we got a trailer for Clayface this week. And I'll be honest, that was a nice shock because I liked the 45-second teaser we got a few months ago enough, but I felt like I didn't get enough from it. Where this, I was like, okay, you sold me on the vibe. You sold me up on this concept. Let's ride. So we'll start with Rue this time. Rue, your thoughts on the Clayface trailer?
It was cool.
I know you're not a horror guy. That's why I'm starting with you.
Yeah, but even then, I like Naomi Ackie, and I've been watching more horror stuff. But I understand why people are really excited about this. I don't know if it's because I know about Clayface a bit, and maybe it's because I don't. But I watched it, and it was probably the least I was excited about, like a lot of things. And I'm saying that like I didn't like it, and like I'm not gonna go see it, and like I'm not intrigued. I'm very intrigued, but this was just all right, cool trailer. I'm gonna go see that movie anyway. And I don't have much more to say about it, to be honest. It was like, all right, cool.
Nick, your thoughts?
I'm honestly in the same boat. I think it looks cool. I think it's got aspects of like a far more serious Toxic Avenger, a little bit of a Dark Man. Again, all these in a more serious tone. But like I don't know much about the character, admittedly, similar to Rue, and I think it could be good, and I think it could be not good, and I kind of just need to see it.
Yeah.
Amanda, your thoughts?
I'm in the same boat. I mean, it looks pretty sick. It's true. It's like it looks pretty sick. I don't know much about the character. Maybe this is gonna be fantastic. Where like I'm gonna love Clayface at the end of this. Who knows? But I'm intrigued, which is always good after watching a trailer. So I will be there watching it when it premieres for sure. But it looks sick. So, and I love my horror.
All right, we're gonna turn to Monty now.
I'll give you something different because I'm a contrarian, but also I do feel like coming off of Supergirl, this is a very good, safe move from DC. I think this is a certified hit, no matter what, good or bad.
$40 million budget, correct?
Yeah, they're dropping a low budget horror movie during Halloween time, so there's no other way for this to do than to make money. I think it's going to be hailed as a success for DC Studios coming off of their first failure, which to me wasn't even a failure. It was an okay movie. Yep. If we were judging studios by their first mid movie, we would never have an MCU beyond phase 1. So it's tough. I think this movie is what the studio needs I think they planned this without realizing this would be the movie that they needed right now. It's for a character that's relatively unknown. They have a chance to do something fun with it, but I think they're sticking pretty close to the Matt Hagen origin from Batman the Animated Series.
Mhm.
You know, actor who gets a scarred face, who then goes sees, who works with a company that gives him injections, that turns him into a big blob monster. But I think it's fun. I really like the body horror aspect of it. I love it when superhero movies aren't afraid to tiptoe into other genres. And the only thing that this movie does have going for it, even though the character is not well known, is this is the first time we're going to be seeing Gotham in the DCU in live action. So they could always use that to their advantage. If they really want to inject life into this marketing campaign, maybe they'll start teasing that Batman could show up, even though they confirm this takes place in the past in the DCU. So who knows?
This we do know that this is the same Clayface from Creature Commandos.
Yeah, Safran confirmed it.
Yeah. So it is years and years in the past of the DCU. So at this point, do we even know if Superman will be around yet? Like, there are a ton of questions that we can have going into it. Excuse me. But I'm with Monty. I enjoyed the body horror of it. I knew it was a small budget, and I looked at this. I'm like, Halloween time, horror film, also happens to be a comic film. You're gonna get two massive groups of fandom out there. Comes out a week after Street Fighter, so people will be clamoring. Like in October, this looks to be the horror film. So I think this is going to be in a great position. I am absolutely excited. I love that it didn't use Naomi Aki is seemingly the biggest name in this. So I like that it's going to provide an opportunity for people to rise up and make names for themselves. But I am overall just ready to go for October. I'm a big Clayface guy. He's always been one of my favorite villains, whether you go with Batman the Animated Series or the 2004's The Batman. I love the two Clayfaces they do in that. So I am just happy to finally get to see this character, even if there might not be a Batman yet, in this film, and get to broaden the fandom of Clayface as a villain. So, yeah. All right, we're getting down. We're getting down there. All right, cool. Because this next thing, I'm gonna let Rue take the lead on this. Because if I don't, he'll kill me. Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
I actually thought you could have gone either of two ways, but I'm loving this.
Rue, you have the floor, sir.
I'm gonna make it quick because it wasn't much. I loved the video that Walker and Arian sent to Leah while she was going to do Cheetah Girls, and of her not being at Comic-Con. That was fucking hilarious. Basically, any press that they ever do, the cast just shows how great they are and how much chemistry they have. And we only got a teaser, and we got the teaser we needed of freaking Percy holding up what might be the world. I have been talking about Percy Jackson for the last 2 weeks since the Odyssey has come out, because Percy Jackson and Annabeth could have gotten done with the Odyssey in like 5 days, 3 days for Annabeth. And I love Greek mythology, and I love this fucking show, and I love this fucking series, and everything about it with just this and the Odyssey and the synergy of it all. It's beautiful. And I cannot wait to see this. And yes, I will still fuck J.K. Rowling, but we'll still be watching the Harry Potter show also at the end of the year. So,
which we'll be
I'm
talking
a happy
about
person.
on Daily Propcast.
I'm a happy person. Percy Jackson is my favorite series ever of all things, I think, because it combines all of my loves. So I'm very, very, very happy, and I just want to keep seeing them keep going and going and going. That's
all right. Next, I'm going to go to who seems like a new Percy Jackson fan based on the fact that they're talking about they are just about to start to read Titan's Curse. So, Amanda, your thoughts?
I don't know what happened to me. I was never a Percy Jackson fan. So then I was like, okay, let me read. I swear to you, it's like so bad that I'm even saying this live. I wanted to prep for the show because I'm like, finally, let me get back into this. And then I read the first book and before the series started, and I was like, oh my God, I love this stuff. It's so fantastic. And then I watched the first season, and like that, they became family. Like they're family. I love every single character there. I think Walker Scobell is a freaking star. Ever since I watched him in the Adam Project, I'm like, I need him in everything. And then he got cast as Percy Jackson. So like him alone that is why I dove like straight into it, and now I can't wait to read the Titan's Curse.
Well,
ahead
you
of the
got about
premiere
like
date.
you got like what is it? 7 books
It's
after
December.
that? Rue? 7 books
Oh.
after that? No, excuse me.
Oh,
It's 10 because you have the
I'm
spin-off
locked in.
series. You got a
you have a
spin-off
whole
series,
universe.
and then
you
you
have a whole
have
universe.
he now
to
has
get
3
into.
books post the spin-off series.
Love it.
So you
I'm
got a
locked
whole lot.
in. I'm
He
locked
has a
in.
whole publishing company for other authors to write about their mythology. There's an Indian and an African. It's everywhere. There's a whole fucking.
I stick
I
to
love
Uncle
it.
Rick stuff. I stick to Uncle Rick stuff.
I stick to Uncle Rick stuff. Okay, no problem. But yeah, I'm like obsessed with it now. And I'm just like Rue said, like I want them to keep making them. I don't want this show to get canceled. I think I will cry because it just deserves like its actual time in the spotlight.
I
RIP. The movie adaptations are fine. They're whatever.
No, they're not fine.
No, they're not. They're not. I don't. But the series is like amazing, and I'm so happy that they're giving it its due right now. So yeah.
Monty, I don't know where you stand on Percy Jackson. I've seen you do coverage of it, but I don't know
Yeah.
where you actually stand on it.
The
Your
show was
thoughts?
my first exposure to the Percy Jackson mythology. Me personally, I know other people who recommended it to me that were huge fans of the books. People who have watched the movies, and they were like, "You should watch this. It's going to be like really. It looks really good." So I checked it out, and the first episode, I became the world's biggest Sally Jackson fan because great mother,
Yes.
W mom right there. So that locked me in, and then I love the young cast. I think they have great chemistry. I think it's a really fun coming of age story. I like the mythology. I thought the show was really, really well done. Season 2 was a step up from season 1. It felt like they got a little bit of a bigger budget. Everyone was a little bit better in their performances as they grew into their bodies and grew into their characters. I think I'm really excited to check out season 3. I think the show is only going up. And I just want these creators to take a break so they can get back to doing the Power Rangers reboot.
No, they can stay on hold.
That thing's never happening. That thing is never happening.
I need Percy to finish before they touch Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But so a question I have for you then. So you're just gonna stick to the show. You're not gonna.
I don't want to spoilers. No spoilers, Matt. Jeez.
Okay. That's why I was asking.
Don't ruin my viewing experience.
I won't. I will say a lot of people consider Titan's Curse to be the best book, so that's why a lot of fans are really excited. And Walter said he fought to make sure that this season was as true as possible, and they didn't do the little like, we'll change this a little bit. He's like, no, this one is revered. We got to keep it how it is. So there's that. But Nick, your thoughts?
I'm similar to Monty. I mean, I saw the original film when it came out, and
we don't talk about that.
And it left no mark on me. I thoroughly enjoyed the first season. It reminded me of like a Jumanji style adventure that I don't think we get a lot of anymore. And honestly, similar to what the Adam Project did. And I liked that, and I liked, again, as the actors were growing into their bodies and into their characters, you saw kind of an uptick in season 2. Similar to Monty, I'm not going to read anything, not because I don't like books. I've said this before. I started enjoying the Harry Potter films a lot more when I stopped reading the books, and I much prefer reading after the fact than reading before the fact and going in blind.
Fair enough.
But yeah, as for the Comic-Con of it all, there really wasn't anything.
No, they
talk about.
They released that 45-second teaser of him holding up the world, and I was hoping for a full trailer, and then I had to remind myself, D23's in 3 weeks. That's probably where they're gonna be like, here's your actual trailer of it. But I do want to say, I haven't even talked about the activation, so let's talk about the Lanterns activation. We were talking Lanterns, but they did a cool little activation for this where you chose a path of one of the 3 major gods. We got more. I feel like we got more from the EW story that came out right before Comic-Con than we did from Comic-Con itself, because they showed off the D'Angelo siblings, who I will just leave it at that. Runo, so I'm talking about it. If you've read the books, you know who I'm talking about. I won't spoil that for Amanda or Nick or Monty as to who those people are.
They sound like an R&B group.
They do.
They do,
Rest
but
in peace to a soul
Monty, they're Italians.
I love that. I love that for me. Hey,
my
paisan.
people.
Same, my people.
Yay!
But yeah,
Love it.
so I won't spoil those connections for those people who aren't aware. But like, I was already excited. I need this season to hit like crack in the 90s, so they just automatically greenlight seasons 4 and 5 like they did seasons 2 and 3.
Not the way I would describe it. A teen show.
Listen. I'm gonna be honest. Fuck it being a teen show at this point.
Easy, Hal.
I've been invested in this
Jordan.
series for damn near 20 years at this point. I just need it to I need to see this to completion of at least the first 5 books.
Yes.
I realize we are like Rue can co-sign this. It is highly unlikely we get anything after the first 5 books because of how and when those stories take place. It would be cool, but I'm not expecting it. I just need those first 5 stories told, and I'll be happy. So, hit like crack in the 90s, Titan Curse. I need it. I don't know. That's such an odd euphemism to use. Either way. All right.
Matchbox.
Oh,
No,
Here,
there's still
Nick,
one other thing that I would love to talk about, but I'll
let Nick. I'll end with the other thing, Rue, but I'll let
Guys,
Nick
check
talk
the
about
chat. We
Matchbox.
got a subscriber on the line right now. Potential
Oh, boy.
subscriber.
My friend Eric Cruz wants to shout out. I'll subscribe if you complete his list. Shout out Eric Cruz. There we go.
Yeah.
Love.
Also, thank you for the subscription, but also, Eric, you should subscribe as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
that too.
we need 2 subscriptions, Ty.
Yes. Is this the same Ty I know from Twitter, Monty?
Probably.
Okay. But so, Nick, if you really want to talk about Matchbox and the other Amazon products that came out, go ahead. But
I don't.
I was like, I really did not do any research on these. So it's all going to be on you at this point. If you want to.
I was just surprised to find out that Jessica Biel was acting again. That was really the only thing from Matchbox that stood out to me.
Okay, and then the other
That family needs money after Justin's tour.
Oh, wow.
What tour?
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
All right. I didn't watch the trailer for this, but there was a Carrie trailer that dropped the first look at the Mike Flanagan Carrie series.
I liked the Carrie trailer. I thought they did a really good job.
You saw it up front, right?
No, I saw that when it was released here. I thought they did a good job showing how she is bullied, kind of finding the balance between making it child-centric without feeling too like Disney Channel TV show, and then teasing the horror elements without getting right into it. And obviously the Mike Flanagan of it all, he has my cosign when it comes to horror until he proves me wrong.
Fair enough. And there's a show I know I can talk about because I love the series that is from. That is also another Amazon released. Blade Runner 2099. My goodness. What's that about, Amanda?
Did we need it? Sorry.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan, so I can't say that, but it's just like, I didn't even know it was coming out. Then I saw the title card and I was like, oh, they're still holding on to this franchise. But like, I feel really bad that I'm even saying it. Honestly, I think Denis Villeneuve did a great job. I just didn't think it would continue past that. That's it.
I'm just going to continue that train. I've never cared about Blade Runner. I don't know
You can
why.
burn in hell,
Yeah, I never clicked
no.
either, so I'm with you.
It's not bad. It's probably really good. I've seen both of them, and I hope the people who like Blade Runner like the show, but I don't really have any interest in it. And the trailer did nothing for me.
Monty, your thoughts?
I have not seen the trailer yet.
Okay. Fair enough. We're all
I
good.
am a huge fan of Blade Runner, though, and I think Blade Runner 2099 is a damn near masterpiece of a film. I
mean
love
49?
that movie.
Because 99 is a
Yeah,
show.
2049. Sorry, you got
49's
confused.
good.
But no, I did not see. I'm very intrigued by the cast, though. It's
Yeah.
a very interesting cast, very talented cast, and I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna check it out.
Nick,
A lot
your
of
thoughts?
great television happening.
Yes, I will agree with that. Nick, your thoughts? Because I know you were really excited about this.
Okay, so here's the thing. No, I was not.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm a massive Harrison Ford fan. I will openly admit I have never seen Blade Runner all the way through.
Oh my God, Nick's Wi-Fi went out finally.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Fake fan.
I added you back in. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me do my
Did
job.
Yeah, I've never seen Blade Runner. I started watching it on a plane and I fell asleep. And there's just so many new movies. It's hard to go back. I've never seen Blade Runner 2049.
Nick, I'm going to drive up to Toronto and strangle you.
I will happily watch those two before this. Look, the last season of Euphoria was fucking awful. But that said, I worry about Hunter Schafer's future because I don't know. I don't know if Hollywood knows what to do with her, and I don't think she's a bad actress by any shape or form. But I don't know, especially not casting her in Zelda. I don't know where she goes, what lane she's going to go into, and unfortunately, I feel like she has a chance to be the Euphoria actor that gets left by the sidelines a little. And if this doesn't take off, this could be, I don't want to say a career killer, but it could really hurt any stock that she has.
I don't think she was that good in the last season of Euphoria.
No one was good in the last season.
No one. Well, they were all in
Euphoria.
different shows and projects. They all acted differently in that point. But I just think that
nobody was on set at the same time. So that show just exists.
She also had very little to do in the last season.
She had little to do. I mean, I watched Cuckoo too, and I thought it was fine.
In my schedule, so I know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think out of all of them, I don't. Like you said, I completely agree with you, Nick. I don't think they know what to do with her. I don't know where she would fit in, what project she would fit into out of all of them, because it's just interesting. Even for her to be cast in this, it's interesting to see where her the path is going. So hopefully she doesn't get left in the dust, but we'll see.
So I have a lot to say about this, and I'm probably the only one that does, because wow, I did not expect them to turn the world upside down on its head. For those who have seen 2049, we kind of leave off where replicants and this hybrid that it happens to be Harrison Ford and forget the main female characters played by Sean Young's name's child, who's a hybrid between a replicant and a human. Just kind of like this mini messiah. The replicants kind of turn on the world. And now we're living in a world where replicants are ruling. So and humans are under the thumb and being hunted. I am very, very curious about the shoe being on the other foot. So, Rue, stop it.
Rue.
But so this is why that show has my attention. Just knowing the lore of Blade Runner and knowing that in 2049 we do get to confirm that Deckard is a human and not a replicant, because that was always the biggest question coming out of the original film. So I am very excited. I want to see how the lore is expanded on and where it goes from here. So give me more Blade Runner. I'm one of those people who was asking for more. Give it to me. Give it to me now. So I'll say that. Now, Rue, you can have the floor one last time. Not about the fucking Knicks.
Let's go, Rings of fucking Power. I cannot wait. I love this show. There is apparently a contingent now of a Twitter thread that I am not responding to, but consistently getting notifications because that man and Swift and Colin can't stop talking. But anyway, I love this show. I know some other people are about it. I think season 2 was much better than season 1.
Agreed.
And this trailer intrigued the shit out of me because one, Jamie Campbell Bower gets to play a good guy for once, and a very good guy in a franchise that existed, because even though I like Shadowhunters, nobody else gave a fuck about that thing. And so that intrigued me. But the biggest thing that intrigued me is the fact that we are getting some form of orc and elf together fighting. And I am so fucking into that. I want to know what this is, who this dude is. They left trails and little crumbles of like the orcs turning on Sauron and whatever. I forgot what dude's name. And
Morgoth?
that is,
Was it Morgoth? Was it Morgoth or Morgoth? Something like that.
I can't remember, to be honest, because as much as I love Lord of the Rings, unless it's the original trilogy,
It's hard to
there's
remember.
so many new names and so much lore. I've read the Silmarillion like twice, and as good as it is, I don't remember a name besides Beren and Luthien. My dad would kill me for saying that because he reads it every year, but I just love the world. And the fact that I saw Galadriel teaming up with an orc, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what more of these blue wizards are with Kyrian, because we don't get
It looks like he's Saruman. It looks like he's Saruman.
He is not Saruman. He is
I'm just saying,
100% not
looks like-
Saruman. He is a blue wizard. He is the
Okay.
blue wizards we don't. But yes, he looks like him, but he's one of the blue wizards that we don't get any information about, aside from a quick mention in The Hobbit, how there's Radagast, there's Saruman the White, there's Gandalf the Grey, and 2 blue wizards that we know nothing about. So it's a lot of stuff and a lot of lore I love, and I cannot wait to get into, and it looks epic as hell. I have been trying for the life of me to get a One Ring replica for a wedding that I am having soon. So that's coming in the mail, and it's perfect fucking timing.
Aw.
Yes, I said it out loud in public. It's fine. That's the one way I'm saying it out loud in public. I'm having a wedding reception, and that's the fucking ring I'm wearing. So I am excited.
I can't
love
believe
that.
Maxwell agreed to that.
She doesn't. She's not listening, so it doesn't matter.
This man just clearly said, "My wife ain't listening. I'm gonna do this whether she likes it or not."
What
Yeah,
she
exactly.
doesn't know can't hurt her.
Anyone else watch the trailer or no? All right, so I'm gonna go in on this thing because
I mean, I did see the trailer. I got to
Why
see
don't
it.
you speak up?
I got to see the trailer because I haven't seen the first 2 seasons of Ring of Power.
You don't have to speak on the trailer.
Same.
But I will say, I saw it at the Amazon upfront a couple months ago. They brought out, I believe the actor's name is Charlie Vickers,
I
who
think
plays
that's
Sauron.
Yeah.
And he had a lot to say about him getting a chance to portray Sauron in a certain way this season that got me excited about how he was talking about it. So I think that by all accounts, I've heard that this is a show that the original season came out. They put a insane amount of money into it,
Yep.
and it
Also
had
filmed in New Zealand, like the films did, but unfortunately, with season 3, I believe they moved to London, which I was not happy
Wow.
about.
But I heard that season 1 had a lot of mixed results, and by all accounts, I heard season 2 was a step up. So I'm very
Incredible
curious.
step up.
I'm very curious if it continues that momentum just on word of mouth with season 3. But I think the trailer's dope. If you're a fan of this franchise, it reminded me of like when Apple releases a trailer for one of their space style shows, like a Foundation or Star City or something like that I don't watch, and I just go, man, that's a cool trailer. That's kind of how I felt about this. It's not my lane that I'm in, but I think it's something that'll make fans very, very happy.
I'm just going to tell you, Nick, you should get in that lane. It's a very fun lane. Season 1 gets a lot of hate. A lot of people hated on it because of the inclusion that, unlike a certain director for the new film that they're doing, who seems seemingly anti-inclusion. But season 1 is actually pretty solid. I remember seeing the first 2 episodes in theaters. Amazon played them like a film. Maybe it was the first 3, but they played them like a film. That your ticket was free and it came with a $10 concession voucher, which was cool. So you essentially got paid to see the movie by them paying for your concessions, which was nice. But I was already intrigued because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I've never been a book reader fan, but I've always loved that world. I actually have Galadriel's sword in my bedroom right now. I use it when I cosplay as a knight or anything because I love the style of that sword. But yeah, I am super excited. It's interesting that we're getting a time jump because it's supposed to be a 3 or 5 year time jump from season 2 to now, which I was not expecting. But I am super intrigued because that would explain why Mordor is so established as it is now compared to House.
You wanted me to talk about it, and I'll say it. I'm not surprised at all because Lord of the Rings in general takes place over a long,
Oh, I know. It does.
long ass time. So,
But a lot of people were
tons of
a lot of
success.
people were shocked that we were getting one at this midway point. So,
Yeah.
But that's all we had scheduled to talk about. Anyone else have anything to say? Your winner of Comic-Con, if you want to list one.
I mean, I don't want to ignore the chat. So Celine Dion is a Canadian treasure. That's all I'll say.
There you go.
Facts.
All right, Nick, we'll start with you. Thoughts on Comic-Con? Who is your winner, if you have one?
I think the winner is probably Lanterns. It's something that there was a lot of apprehension about the opening teaser, and I think regardless of how you felt about it, it didn't. I don't think it made a lot of people feel one way or another about it, and I think that this trailer really ignited a potential fan base for people who aren't inundated with the history of that character, and I think that it's probably the most unique thing that we got. Aside from excitement for David Johnson's casting, but I do think the footage aspect, that's probably the most unique thing that we got. So that's the trailer that stuck with me the most.
Rue, your thoughts? Same question.
Outside of the sappy answer of the fans, because it's always the fans, David Johnson. People have been putting stock in David Johnson for years, but it's been individual stock and individual like clusters. And I have seen so many videos of, I don't know who this man is, but I've heard he's amazing now. We got to see who he is. The stock that I have been putting in this man is paying dividends, the biggest dividends. And there's nobody more deserving of that as an up-and-comer in my mind than him. So him getting this role, to me, makes him the biggest winner of Comic-Con, because I made a claim that he is going to be Denzel in like 20 years.
So you gave him a Chadwick claim then?
Yeah,
that's what everybody said about Chadwick right after.
I think he is that great of an actor, and now he's going to get the platform to people know his name and then be able to do whatever he wants, because he's already like a top tier, going to be multi-nominated, Oscar-nominated actor. So yeah.
I'll one up you on that. As exciting as that casting is, I think this is the first person that they have casted potential wise that I think is someone who could lead this next phase of the MCU.
Yeah,
and I think that that's something they've been looking for a long time. I think there was a good chance that had everything gone differently, obviously, that Chadwick Boseman could have been the successor to Tony in that sense.
He was going to be. There's no if about it. He was going to be.
But right now, I think they've lacked in who that could be. And this is the first person I've gotten excited that this could be the new leader of the MCU, even over someone like Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Amanda, your thoughts? Same question.
I'm with Rue. I think I was out at a bar when that news broke, and I think I screamed so loud that he got cast. So it was just, I love him. Ever since Rye Lane, I said that he was going to be big. And then just watching him in all of his projects, I still have to watch Industry, which everyone keeps saying that we have to watch Industry.
My buddy tells me about that. I'm just like, okay, I don't get to choose a lot of what I watch, so that'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, which is fair. So I got to watch that next. But I think it was just, everyone was overwhelmed and excited at the fact that he got cast. And like Rue said, if people don't know about him, they will now. They will go back to those projects just to see how good he is. And I do think he has longevity, as we've been saying. So I was very hyped. That is the only thing that I can think about. That's the only thing I can talk about, is that David Johnson is cast. So I was really, really happy about that. And I think that's the winner here.
All right, Monty, your thoughts, your winner, your favorite part.
I thought this Comic-Con was a little softer than a lot of ones in the past. You have Kevin Feige coming out and saying, when Marvel comes back to Hall H, it's a big deal. We haven't been back in 2 years, and then they give us 2 casting announcements and a bunch of stuff we already knew. I thought that was fine. I went into this expecting a lot from Marvel. I thought they did a good job, controlling Saturday. The the media cycle on Saturday. But the real winner of this con, from an objective standpoint, is DC as a whole. The company DC. Not only did they win from the comics standpoint by announcing all of these great new titles that are being written, but on top of that, they dominated from just a sheer media standpoint, because that Lanterns activation that we didn't talk about dominated social media for the entirety of Comic-Con.
To the point where the rings from it are selling for between $130 to $200+ on eBay right now.
That's genius, because not only did that create a hype cycle for the trailer that they teased the day before it released, so it had people talking a day before about the trailer, but also you had your fan base working for you, because you had people posting about the rings online, that they got their rings, and taking group photos of all of them pointing the rings at the camera. It's brilliant. From a marketing standpoint, that was brilliant. The comic coverage, my feed for the past weekend has all been like Cape Crusader, My Adventures with Superman, Lanterns. So while they did not have a huge movie presence there, I mean, even Clayface earlier in the week, they dominated as a whole throughout the course of the week. So I think from a sheer marketing standpoint, DC, who went into Comic-Con with their first major loss, left Comic-Con having the entire fandom talking about their future projects, which I think is really smart.
I will add on, just because you mentioned it, season 2 of Cape Crusader. Oh my fucking god, is it amazing?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I'm about to watch it like this.
This is so good. I
And
cannot
My
wait.
Adventures with Superman is fantastic too.
I've got to catch up. Real quick, Monty, I didn't have this on the run because I knew I was probably the only one who watched it, but since I have you here, I do want to ask thoughts on Avatar and Seven Havens.
I listen, I like it. I think it's a bold direction, but to be fair, Avatar was built on taking a bold swing with children's programming. I like that they're doing something different with every Avatar that they've had. I don't want to see them do the first show over and over again. And I think the fact that they keep reinventing the series with each passing generation, with each passing Avatar, is exciting. I understand. Like, I honestly don't understand why people are so upset about it, but you know,
I think it has to do with animation, because that's been my biggest hang up. Looks cheaper.
Yeah, I get it. It's, you know, it to me, it fits with the style, because this world is so different, and it looks more like a fantastical kind of old middle age techno world. So I think it's so far removed from like the traditional Asian inspired, anime inspired world that the first Avatar was, that it's kind of needs to have a new animation style to tell that new like fantasy based story.
Fair enough. And yeah, for me, DC was my biggest winner. Monty covered it with he actually took the point I was going to make about the activation, because I mentioned it earlier. Like before, I talked to essentially everyone on this panel. Monty is my witness. I was like, hey, because I didn't know when I was going to be able to get a replica ring from the new show. I was like, hey, do you know anyone there who can go to the DC shop and pick me up the ring that I know they're selling, at least, because I know I'm not going to get this activation one, because fuck how people are reselling it for the prices that they are. He's like, I know people there, but trust me, it'll be on the shop. Next day, right after the trailer dropped, it's right there on the shop. I bought it. I told Monty. Monty told me he bought it too.
I bought it.
So, like, the fact that you are getting people that to be fair, that ring sold out in mere hours. Also, so your merchandise is selling. Your fan base is excited. The activation got a lot of people talking. Your trailer got a lot of people talking. Clayface got a lot of people talking. As Monty said, my Adventures with Superman, which is a great show, Rue, you do need to watch it. I think you'd enjoy it most out of anyone on this panel. There's so much DC has going on for it that it is without a doubt the winner. I'm curious. I do think, Monty, do you think NYC or New York City Comic Con is where we get more DC stuff? Or
I think that's where we get Marvel TV stuff, more so than DC stuff. I really hope that
D23?
D23 is going to give us some. I think we're going to get the Vision Quest trailer at D23, because I saw that thing in October last year at New York Comic Con. But we're going to get like little teases. Maybe they'll bring the Defenders out for Daredevil. I don't think we're going to get a trailer for Daredevil. I think we'll see that at New York Comic Con. We'll see a trailer for Daredevil. We'll see a trailer, maybe more at Vision Quest. I think they're going to like walk the people out, but I think New York Comic Con's where It used to be. I don't know. With all this now, Marvel Entertainment is fully moving to Los Angeles. Who knows? I know that a lot of the Marvel TV people were based out of New York, but now that they're moving all of their operations to California, who knows? Maybe we won't be getting as much as I think we will be this year. But I think D23 is going to be them. I think that's where we're going to be getting our big X-Men news, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be getting, because that's the first major movie that's after Secret Wars. And that's the property that they want to push as their new centerpiece for the universe. So the reason why they didn't do that at San Diego is because there's a character that's hitting theaters on Thursday that they can't really spoil because they had them do a social media video saying that they won't reveal their character's name until the movie's in theaters. So they couldn't really, I didn't expect them to have any X-Men news at Comic-Con, but I do expect that for D23. And I expect big Marvel television presence at New York Comic-Con.
Fair enough. Real quick, I do have a question for everyone. Was anyone else shocked that they didn't push back Secret Wars considering filming hasn't happened yet? I'll start with Amanda.
That surprised that it wasn't pushed back?
Yeah, that they didn't announce that it was pushed back, considering that movie is supposed to come out in December of next year and not a frame has been shot, as far as we know.
There's still time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still time either to go ahead or to push it back. Like there is
look
still
at Brand
time.
New Day,
Yeah,
too.
they can. Yeah. They make decisions. They make snap decisions all the time. So that could be any time. Literally. They could change everything around and do it for another 2 years. You don't know. Like it's possible.
Plus,
yeah.
AI.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
I mean, that's where Disney's seemingly heading, so I can't even...
They can speed through it if they want and lift it. Make it sooner. We have no idea.
Visual effects people, so
I don't think this is going to happen, to be clear. But like based on for all you know, they could push it and they could put something between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah, you don't know.
Because none of us know what's going to happen in Spider-Man yet. And whether that's an introduction of a new character, whether that's anything. Like they could do, even if it's not theatrical, they could do another like Punisher one-off special, or they could do something.
Don't get Monty started.
They could do something on Disney Plus that's like a feature-length thing, maybe just not theatrical, like what The Mandalorian should have been.
I think they secretly shot some stuff for Secret Wars. I feel like there's some stuff shot for Secret Wars already that we don't know about. We know that they shot Tony's funeral like while they were filming Infinity War when they had everyone on set. So, you know, there's probably
for exposing everything. So
But no. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in real quick. Monty, where can the good people find you? We'll give you a solo real quick.
You guys can find me everywhere at the Montyverse, except Instagram. It's just at Montyverse because someone took my and it wasn't very nice of them. That's rude.
All right. Amanda, where can the good people find you?
You guys can always follow me over at AMX Indie Reviews on Letterboxd and Amanda Garaji on Instagram. That's where I'm at right now.
All right.
Yeah.
And as always, you can find myself, Nick, and Rue here on Bite Size and A Bigger Bite. Them primarily on the Bite Size website. I'm only here for A Bigger Bite. But you can also find me on my personal YouTube channel, What Real Entertainment. I do trailer reactions, reviews. Spider-Man Brand New Day review will be up Tuesday morning. So there is that. And then my social media reaction will be posted while I'm in bed at 1 a.m. on Tuesday. Rue, I will cut off your access. But no, so you can check everything I do out over there. But thank you to everyone who tuned in live. Thank you for everyone who watches this on a playback. And with that, signing off for Matt, for Nick, for Rue, for Amanda, and for Monty. This was another episode of A Bigger Bite, and we will see you next time. Peace.